To be called a veteran first thing in the morning, but yeah, great to be joining you this morning, and we've got a cracking game this morning. Ramsfjell Stalker, as you say, Ramsfjell just about to play his out-turn draw to determine the hammer.
When I saw the commentary rota come out and I saw that we had this game, I thought that's going to be a cracker. It was circled on the schedule. It will be tricky for Team Stalker. They've got to try and put the loss behind them from last night. It went right down to the last stone, and Team Carson just stealing one in the final end, but it was nip and tuck the whole way. He's proving to be very fast at the start of the games and maybe just tailing off a little bit towards the end. That seems to be the trend at the moment. How will it be today when we go curling for 8 ends?
Well, it's quite a crucial game for both teams because Stalker's 0-2 at the moment, and Ramsfjell had a bye, so he's 0-1. So almost a must-win game for each of them.
It is. It's a hugely must-win affair. Yeah, Team Stalker, they were out in the opening draw against the local ranked Team Thompson, and they just missed out by a shot there. So they could have easily been sitting on 2 wins and no losses, but they're completely the other way. It could be a fairly cruel sport at times. And for Team Ramsfjell, yeah, it's a must-win for them too. You're right. They want to make sure that they're through. They've got quite a competitive section here. Have Ramsfjell Stalker. They've got, of course, Team Thompson, as we mentioned, the very impressive young Scots, Team Carson, and Tocek from Germany as well. Only 2 go through, and you could make a case for at least 4, if not all, of those teams in Section A, but only 2 can get a place in at the quarterfinals. Both of these teams made it through to the quarterfinals last year, with Team Ramsfjell losing to Team Waddle and Team Stalker losing to Team White, who ended up going all the way to the final and very nearly won the whole tournament last year. So they'll be hoping to try and get that spot in at the quarterfinals.
Well, I watched the tail end of the very first draw, which was Thompson Stalker, which went to an extra end, and Stalkers lost in the extra end with Thompson. Actually, Skip Kinnear played the last shot there and played it well, but they were in control in the extra end. But Thompson took them all the way to 8 ends in extra end and won it. So Stalkers would be feeling as if he's probably a bit aggrieved at losing that one. I think he was up in that game and lost it.
Yeah, it was so tight the whole way. The second half of the game, just both teams actually getting caught out quite a lot with the change of the ice condition throughout the game, and that just made it very, very tricky to try and come through.
We've got a change in Team Stalkers from his normal team today. I think Yves Stalker is unwell. He's not here this week, and Kim Schwaller has moved up to skip. Felix Eberhard third, Thomas Winkelhausen second, and the sub Noe Traub in at lead.
Noe Traub, it's a good sub to have. Kim Schwaller used to play with him, so they know each other well, and that familiarity will be very, very important. Kim Schwaller played very well yesterday, played some really good shots. He'll be hoping to carry that through. Just 21 years old, so a young man skipping this team at this international level. Not sure about the white socks with black shoes and black trousers, but this isn't a fashion competition. If it were, the Japanese rank would win it hands down with those trousers.
It's because he's 21, Peter. He's allowed to wear that.
He's like, you don't understand.
We've got a lot of young teams here this week. It's great to see, and I tell you something, they're competitive. They're very competitive, and they're not scared of anybody out there.
No, that was clear last night with the triple Scottish Junior champions, Team Carson. It was my co-commentator Alan Hanna. It was difficult for him because he actually coaches them, and he didn't even take any notes. But you could see him mentally logging things. But he was very impressed with their performance yesterday. there was one end that didn't quite go to plan. He goes, that was a good learning end. So very measured as always.
They're an incredible team. I've seen them playing on the international stage before, and they're absolutely not scared of anybody at all. And they play a great aggressive game of curling. So I think the future's pretty strong in Scottish junior curling, youth curling anyway.
It is, and you think they've got big shoes to fill. You look at, we've got the world #1 team at the moment in Team Mowat, who have been a really solid unit for so many years. Been winner of the last 4 Mercure Perth Masters, and we do though in the men's competition we will be guaranteed a new Perth Masters champion. None of the teams entered in this year's competition have won it in the past, so we'll have a brand new champion, which is always very exciting.
Well, to join an illustrious list of champions in the past. We've had some fantastic names in the past that have won it before and gone on to win much bigger events thereafter.
Well, previous winners, there's the who's who of curling: Kevin Cooey, Michael McEwen, Randy Fairby, Paul Trulson, Nicholas Edin, Brad Gushu, Thomas Ulsrud, Glenn Howard. I mean, it's an all-star cast.
It is. It's legends right the way through. Swallow's first draw there's a bit short.
Tredjedel stein bedre enn den. Halvstein kanskje. Så halvannen stein bedre enn den.
I'm sure I saw both of Ramsfjell's draws, but I'm pretty sure one of them was in the 8 foot. So
Kim hadde farta I sted, altså. Han legger vel på
needs to be on the button with the next one, I think.
Yep. Yeah, he does.
As you said earlier on, having the hammer in the first end's really important. Having the hammer at all is really important in a shortened version of the game.
Yeah, it was interesting. Alan Hanna yesterday was talking about it. He says even in a 10-end game, the percentages show that if you win, if you get the hammer for the first end, you're more likely to win than not. So the stats say that it genuinely is it will work out as an advantage, and that shows you that the draw shot challenge is a critical part of the game. And with some of the sections how tight they are, the draw shot challenge could actually become very, very important if we by tomorrow night.
Yeah, when you're watching some of the Grand Slam curling, it's about 70% chance of winning the game if you win the toss. I mean, it doesn't always work though. It doesn't always work. There's been some good games that have been won by teams that haven't won the hammer, but they have to go out really aggressively at the start and try and turn that hammer over very quickly.
Also, as well with the draw shot challenges, is if you can lay it on the pot lid early, the confidence that gives you early on in the game is so important as well. You never know when you're going to be asked to play that dead draw.
Absolutely,
that will certainly do it there.
That's very effective. Psychologically, it must be a useful thing to have let alone in the actual strategy of the game itself. Psychologically, won the first competition of the game, which is the draw shot challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting in the European Championships, the latter part of last year.
He's jealous.
Looking at some teams where there was a simple draw, or a slightly more complicated bump or raise or take out or what have you, and the teams would sometimes be almost scared of going for the draw because they're just not fully confident in it. And so if you don't have that shot in your armoury, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. So yeah, being able to get that draw shot in the bag and have that weight in your pocket, very important. So looks like
we're at the handshake stage now, and we're just about ready to get going.
We thought if you had a piece of the forefoot on your last, it would be close.
It's fantastic just to see the whole ice rink come alive at this time of year. This is the traditional time of year to hold the Perth Masters, first weekend of the year, and it's just a great way to get the year going. The whole rink comes alive, both with the best players in the world coming and filling the whole ice rink, but also up in the viewing gallery. Lots of local curlers coming to watch. If you are coming to watch us later on, you're planning on enjoying the hospitality here, give A&B Taxis a call. They're one of our loyal sponsors here at the Mercure Perth Masters. They'll get you home swiftly and safely. Don't drive home. Give them a call. They'll get you from A to B safely and swiftly. A huge thank you also to Mercure for their support as well of the event. They've been a huge standing partner, the City Mills Hotel in Perth, and also the Scottish Deer Centre, who have been a supporter for a couple of years now too. A great day for all the family. Looks like it's going to be Team Stalker then who have the hammer then for this opening end. So it'll be Team Ramsfjell to throw first and get this 8-end game underway. It will be Gauti Nepstad, the lead, with the honour of, it might not be the advantage, but the honour of playing the first stone, the 29-year-old from Bergen. This whole team, though, Ramsfjell, based in Trondheim in Norway.
Well, going by world rankings, we see Ramsfjell sitting around 14th in the world rankings at the moment, and Stalker at 37th. So, you know, whether the world rankings are accurate or not, we'll soon find out. But Ramsfjell's got a big advantage in where he sits in terms of form at the moment.
We have seen some upsets. I mean, Team Easily, they were a surprise package of the opening draw, ranked 69th in the world last year, and they took down top 15 in the world Team Waddle in reasonably convincing fashion, and won their second game last night too. So Team Easily are really impressive, looking strong. So corner guard being called for here and delivered fairly well there. Good start to the game for Team Stalker. So Ramsfjell without the last stone, wanting to try and cover up the middle here, get some stones in the centre.
Yeah, I think his first one just came in a bit too far, but he's now got the chance of dropping one short just off the centre to cover the shot in the house.
Litt plass. Ville rett over reklamen. Benedikte rett over reklamen. Ærlig bak. Gå køll nå uansett. Køll.
Working the brooms hard, trying to get it to move across. It's what these top teams are so good at, is being able to manipulate the stone with the sweeping, and the way that the sweeping technique has moved on. Certainly within the last decade, the directional sweeping. First time I saw it, I thought, what? That doesn't make sense, but it does. And you'll see the players sweeping across at a diagonal angle and trying to get the stone to curl, and they can get it to move, and they can try and keep it straight as well in the more traditional way. It's amazing how well a good front end can make a stone work exactly to how you want it.
Oh, it's really made it such a team game now. It's always a team game before, but it's really important in terms of having. It's great to have great sweepers, but you've got to know when to use them and how to use it effectively. And the game's turned into a much better spectacle all the way through the rink now than it used to be.
I totally agree. Yeah, and also with the addition of the centre guard rule, if you've got a stone on the centre line, it can't be moved until the fifth stone, and that's changed the game as well. It's made it so much more entertaining. There was times in the past where you could get 3 or 4 ends into a game and nothing's really happened. It's just been strike.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's probably hats off to the ruling bodies and that are willing to change the rules to keep it interesting, competitive, and much more enjoyable to watch.
Without changing the essence of the sport, you know, it's still very much is still the same sport, but.
Ramsfjell was looking there to get a wee tap back and roll in behind the guard there, but he was a bit heavier wide. It didn't come as much as he was expecting, and ended up giving Schwaller the opportunity to come round the centre guard.
So it's definitely been a late change, because Noe Traub is wearing one of Tom Winkelhausen's team uniforms. I was thinking, have we got 2 Winkelhausen brothers? No, we don't. We've got Noe Traub playing lead and Tom Winkelhausen playing second. Heavy though, all the way through.
Yeah,
Well.
Just not got a grip of the speed of the ice as yet.
So if you're joining us on the Perth Masters YouTube page, a very warm welcome to you. Do let us know where you're watching from, who are you cheering for in this tightly contested game. It's sure to be a tightly contested game.
Martin. Køl så mye vi kan inn her.
Working the brooms hard now, both
Ramsfjell,
going really hard at it.
Kom igjen, det blir bra den. Køl nå,
It's
hardt.
looking like it's a little bit light.
Hardt på Vita senter,
Look at how much this is finishing though, with a great, there's a perfect example
16-2.
of with two good sweepers, how much you can change a stone that could be potentially poor to at least something you can work with.
Probably see 3/4 of that anyway there, Peter. I think he's going to be able to come down at a canny weight and still take it out.
It's another thing when you watch the modern game, how light a weight the teams can play and keep the stone under control and stop it from curling. Again, that comes down to the sweeping, but they're trying to get it to curl here.
Just to hang around, and he's given him the opportunity to come back round the guard again.
Quite a tetchy opening end.
Finding the weight, I think, is the tricky bit for them.
It seems that way. The ice has been very, very quick at the start of games, particularly. We're looking at around 14.5 seconds from hog to hog. It's fairly keen. And big swings.
Yeah, most people would think that the ice would be the same all the time, but it does vary a lot. It can vary quite a bit during the game. The pace of it, sometimes even the straightness of it during the game. So players have got to be on their games, particularly the skips, knowing exactly how to change their strategy depending on the ice conditions. Better weight this time, Peter, but he's probably just a little bit wide of the line.
Gauti Nepstad there, really working it in a diagonal angle, trying to get that last bit of curl. That's directional sweeping at work there.
It's obviously enough to make Schwaller want to take the centre guard off and possibly even the raise.
Much stronger weight now from Felix Erpard, the 25-year-old. Started curling at the age of 11.
Schwaller's now got two corner guards, whether he's positioned it that way or not, but he's now got two corner guards, but Ramsfjell's in control with the stone in the centre of the house and the opportunity to guard it.
This is the kind of cat and mouse early sparring here. Who's going to be the first to blink?
Litt plass. En curl hvis vi kan. De to bra. Skal midt på senter.
Working both games here, trying to get this red stone dragged across over onto a little bit further too, over onto the centre line.
It's swung a lot at the end, isn't it?
They've really worked that hard at the end.
It's quite a long guard. Schwaller's initially thinking, can I come round there and tap that back and go to my corner? Now he's looking, should I take the long guard off?
He's gone for the, looks like he's going to take the long guard off. But it was 50-50, wasn't it? Whether that's a long enough guard where you could come around it, remove the opposition stone and, as you say, roll behind the guard. It would be a tricky shot.
Come a couple of feet further onto the logo, he would definitely just go on the raise.
Martin.
Okay, same shot as last time.
Yeah, it sets up more cover too, if you would like it. And Team Ramsfjell deciding to try and effectively replace that stone that's just been removed. Easy to say, not so easy to do. But a real clarity of decision making. We don't have time clocks like we would see in many international competitions, so the teams are not under a time pressure. However, if they are playing slowly, the umpires can tell them to move things along, and in certain cases they could penalise teams who are serial offenders, shall we say.
There's been a couple of slow games in the earlier draws. I think teams will get used to it as they go
Trenger
along.
køl!
Speed up as they need to.
Køl! Kommer den, kom igjen!
Ramsfjell needs to play this
Hard
perfectly
køl!
here. Still
Det blir
long
bra,
again,
hard!
Peter.
Yeah,
Hard!
this is going to need a
Litt
lot
til,
of work with
litt til,
the
litt til.
brooms, but it's just not got the legs on it, has it?
It's even longer than the last time.
Oh dear, and not on the centre. Yeah, opportunity here for Kim Schwaller, and he's kind of always grinning and smiling. He's got a kind of cheeky look to him, does Kim Schwaller.
Will we give it a go?
Yeah, and he's like, shall we do it? Yeah, go on, go on.
He's definitely going to do it.
He had that a few times yesterday where an opportunity would open up and the smile would just appear, and then he pulled off a brilliant triple take out in this evening's game, and he, for the next 3 ends, you couldn't wipe the smile off his face.
It's great enthusiasm. Well, he's a chance to pick up a two this end if he tucks it in nicely behind this guard. He forces Ramsfjell to play a big shot.
This will be the first time down this handle at this weight, so a bit of a voyage of discovery as well.
He's got room. He's trying to make it curl.
They're wanting it to curl, yeah. So they're using the sweepers to try and
Come
do
on.
that. Here it comes now. Looks not far away.
Bra, 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 bra.
Oh, just a fraction too far.
Not a bad effort, but
No.
not what they were looking for.
Jeg tror jeg liker å ha litt is for å være safe her. Jeg tror vi skal gå
Ja,
ganske rett,
Ramsfjell
altså, så jeg
has,
tror det er mye is egentlig.
Straightforward takeout, but obviously he's looking to try and get some cover behind 3 guards there, any one of them.
So he's wanting to make it as difficult as possible for the end to be blanked and forced
Yeah.
Team Stalker to take 1 at this level. If you've got last stone, taking 1 is not going to win you games. You need to score more than that when you've got the hammer advantage. And for the opposition, if you can hold your opposition to a 1 when they've got hammer, all the better. That's the goal here
Ren,
for Magnus Ramsfjell.
køl!
That would be a good result for Ramsfjell here, but again he's looking a bit high. And he gives Schwaller a fairly straightforward chance to blank this end.
Da var det veldig stilt.
Yep.
Ja. Gammelt.
Yeah, they'll play this with a pretty heavy weight. Hit it on the right-hand side as we look at it. His left,
Nei, toward,
spring out the side of the
Karlsen,
rink, and the opposition stone go out. If you're new to curling, you're thinking, why would you want to score? Why would you want to score 0 when you can score 1? Well, if you score 1, you lose the last stone advantage, and you need to win games. You need to score more than 1 when you have that last stone advantage. Stone delivered with some serious heat behind it. Here it comes down.
Holder det.
Only just needs to hit it off centre and it rolls straight out.
It
So
did the job. So a blanked end then, as we were after 1 end of play. A full ice rink today with some great matchups out there. You can keep up to date with the line scores, curlingzone.com, or indeed on perthmasters.com. We've got Team Ukraine against Team Muirheads, Team British Universities against Team Genner, Team Waddle against Team Klima, critical game there. Team Brunner against Team Zhu from China. Team Bryce against Team Murazumi, that'll be a good matchup. Team Thompson, local team, against Team Carson, the Scottish Juniors. And Team Spitz from the Netherlands against Team Craig. So some really good matchups up and down the ice rink here at Dewar Centre in Perth.
Applaus!
well, the Thompson-Carson game
Applaus.
is the other teams in this group, in
Skal ha
Group
toppen av
A,
logoen her.
and
Bendik inn.
that's a crucial game for both these teams.
Give Bendik
Thompson's
så mye du
on
kan.
1 win, 1 loss,
Eller bare
and
gå nå egentlig,
Carson's
så lenge du
on
kan inne.
1 win and he had a bye.
Ja,
So
ja.
that's
Kom igjen da.
another
Litt til, bra senter.
very deciding game in this group as well. Whoever wins that's going to be well out in front.
So Team Ramsfjell there look like they've just about made contact with the centre line, which means that stone cannot be removed until the 5th stone of the end. So Kim Schwaller's called for a draw around that guard. Ideally sitting on the top of the 4-foot, don't want to go too deep and then allow an opportunity for Team Ramsfjell to come in and sit onto it and start to take control of the end. little bit on the high
It's
side.
a bit high there, Peter, but it's good weight.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a fraction
Yeah.
beyond the tee gives Ramsfjell a chance to come in and freeze on top of that.
Yeah, that was one of the quickest tactical decisions you'll see. Just straight away, yes, thank you. And we'll just come straight down there. It does seem to me, Sandy, that both teams are not quite clicking with the ice condition yet this morning. They both don't seem to have it quite in the bag.
Ikke bare
No,
dø,
I
da.
haven't had the practice early on.
Bare
You
dø,
would
da.
think they were
Linja er
all
ganske
set
bra.
up
Litt
with
vid fortsatt.
the distance right in
bare
their
opp
pocket.
døra.
But certainly
Get
the front
Bendik
ends
hvis
have
dere skal.
struggled to find that. This one here
Gi
looks
Bendik til frys.
high as well.
Kom igjen. Hardt.
Of course, this is the first time we're seeing draw weights on this
Yeah.
handle. Seems to be a lot straighter than the other side.
It's just- It's not bad. He's pretty
Yep.
close to it.
Yep.
It's closer than we thought it would be.
Yep. Kim Swaller going to try and make a play here.
Just getting the inside edge of it.
So again, we maybe want to play it almost a little bit lighter, and then try and use the brooms to get that last tuck in to get it to move how you want it to. I think it's all over the guard though. And can they get it by? The broom's working very hard. It's not quite got the weight, has it? Nope. It's going to
kick
catch
it.
the guard, and that's the thing. It's such a fine margin. If you're just out a little bit high, it stays straight, and
That was no more than tee weight really anyway. So
Mhm.
it was always going to struggle for line and weight.
opportunity
Nick.
for Ramsfjell here to try and
Margin
really
sånn, altså,
control
bra.
that 4-foot
Prøv der.
circle without
Nick.
last stone, so they can
Yeah.
put the Swiss rink under a lot of pressure here if they can pull this shot off. So now Bendik Ramsfjell,
Whoa.
a three-time Norwegian
Whoa.
champion, World University Games
In.
champion,
Whoa.
and bronze
Whoa.
medalist at the most
Good.
recent
Kjell.
European Championships. It's their first international medal for
Bra
this
fart. 9-6.
young Norwegian crew.
Bra sånn,
Didn't
det.
quite
wasn't-
get the roll there.
That was not what they were looking for. Tetchy couple of ends so far, isn't it? It's just neither team playing to the ability they have.
It's maybe just a little bit straighter than they're expecting. They're maybe just expecting a bit more finish in some of these shots. Well, whether they have to just tune back the weight a little bit there, and it's just fine tuning, I think, more than anything. Peter,
Mhm.
we'll come to it. Again, sweeping on the outside of the stone to try and make this curl, and it's getting further and further out the blade shot.
It was not for turning, was it? It was just it stayed out there. This certainly this end is one of those kind of scrappy ends where make the best of what you've got.
Best er oppå. Men
Doesn't appear to be a great deal of panic on either side though.
Ramsfjell's not sure here. Is he hitting the stick where he is, or does he hit and
See?
roll in? Could even hit and roll
See?
in off the red one.
I think without last stone, you go for it. You roll into the centre.
Yeah.
A little bit of cover there on the centre line. Second stone then for
whoa. Whoa.
Bendik Ramsfjell, the
Whoa.
older of the two Ramsfells.
Kjell.
There's quite a few brothers playing in this 2025 Mercure Perth Masters. Got the Carson brothers,
10-6.
the Muirhead brothers.
Det var litt vanskelig å høre hva du sa
I'm sure
der.
I'm missing some.
Jeg så ikke noe. OK, ja.
Waddle.
The Waddle brothers, of course. How could I forget?
Again, straight hit in the nose there when he was possibly looking for the roll in.
It doesn't seem to be
It's a bit cat and mouse here, isn't it?
very much so. Yeah, very much so.
I think they know what they want to do. It's just not the execution's just not coming off.
So Kim Schwaller calling the sweepers off, using the hand signals as well. It gets very, very loud down there on the ice, so the hand signals very important too. And the thing is,
10-5.
it's easy to say, okay, just play it lighter, just play it less ice, but then all of a sudden the weight comes off it and it dives sideways. You miss it and you look the fool.
there's a fraction between playing the right weight and the wrong weight there, and it changes the ability of the stone to curl. Ramsfjell with a better chance here. The stone's a bit further in, less of a roll. But he's signalling it's high. Asking the sweeper to make it curl a bit more.
Bendick really trying hard here. This could be a bit more like it. That's what they were looking for.
That's exactly what they were looking for. It's
Yeah,
a great shot.
Great shot. So it took them a few goes, but there we are.
That changes the end a little bit now.
Yeah, this puts the Swiss rink under quite a bit of pressure. I think right now they've got to try and get it a bit more tidy with the last stone.
He initially looked to taking the guard off there, but I think he's can see enough of it.
Mm-hmm. This looks tight to the guard, maybe. It's turning very, very hard. Is it going to get by? Is it going to squeak by? No, it is not.
Hello, light away.
Yep. It was certainly never going to remove the stone they were going for on the top, the Ramsfjell stone at the top of the 8 foot there on the centre line. It had nowhere near enough weight to remove it from plate. You're right. And unsurprisingly, Team Ramsfjell certainly discussing at least the idea of putting a guard up and taking control of this second end.
He tapped just on top of that logo there, and that's where he's looking for it to finish.
Barfart! Barfart! Litt tight. Gjerne ren. Linja er bra. Bare toppen av logoen. Fin linje.
So now we're starting to work at the grooves, trying to just get it to finish at the last moment. They're working it very hard now. Those last few feet, critical. Oh, pretty good. We were discussing landing it on the last night, talking about landing it on the R of Perth or the top of the U of curling, and the accuracy involved, and I'm pretty sure that was exactly where Magnus Ramsfjell tapped his brush to ask for where that guard to be placed.
Oh, that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, very good shot. That again changes the narrative a little bit. Good shot there.
I like tapping the shot in the house anyway. Just made a difference. The downside of that is he's left the guard on, but there's always the risk when you're going for the run back.
Very good shot there from Felix Eberhard. Now, what do you do here if you're Magnus Ramsfjell? So it looks like they're going to try and use their own red to bump back into the Yellowstone of the Stalker rink.
And potentially lie 3.
Yep.
I think the red will be beating the yellow at the top of the house.
Yep. Certainly one way to force your opponent into a 1 anyway. And potentially, with the way that the teams have got their head around the ice so far, possibly more.
He's seen a number of stones coming down that side, so he should be fully confident in playing this shot for ice anyway.
That's very true. Yeah. They know what it's going to do. They hope.
They're on off all the time, I think.
I want it to curl a little bit. It's not far away. It's going to come across the nose. Oh, not quite.
We're hoping to have moved that yellow further back. More solid contact on the first stone would have made the yellow at least move out of the white ring.
There's an opportunity here for the Swiss to come down, bump that red on the right hand side as we look at it, or the left hand side as the thrower looks at it, roll behind cover, remove the red stone, and set a strong 2.
Strong 2, yeah, absolutely.
That's the A plan, I would think.
Ramsfjell just didn't get what he was looking for there. He just needed to possibly have a touch more weight and be a wee bit tighter line. He was just a bit higher in the line. Just didn't get full contact on the yellow.
it's one of those stones. It wasn't far away, but you might as well be 6 yards away. It was just.
This is a game where the momentum's almost swinging every single shot.
So critical stone here for Kim Schwaller.
This looks tight.
The 21-year-old. Are they going to get it past the guard? Are they going to get it past the guard? No, they are not.
And he's going to
oh my word!
Further in.
Well.
What did I say about momentum swinging?
Yep, yeah. That's the
ding
comment of the day so far. Wow. Right. Team Ramsfjell. A late Christmas present there.
He's looking at the same kind of shot again. Does he think he's going to hit the red onto the yellow, or is he just going to force the one?
Det lite å dra på.
Let's take a listen in for those with the command of the Norwegian language.
Ja, men jeg tror vi må bedre enn den, sånn at han ikke kan spille den for 4, liksom. Jeg tror ikke han gjør det, men det ikke så mye risken heller. Men sånn at dobbelen alltid dårligere enn den. Ja. Kim hadde jo her på dragningen sin. Han stoppet her, han satt den mye. Der kanskje. Her.
How's your Norwegian, Sandy Hay?
Probably slightly worse than yours, which I imagine is...
Jeg føler det ofte vi kan gå I garden på den.
I would double guess what he's saying.
Jeg liker den her. Midt på 12.
He did look at putting one across inside the 8 foot.
Jeg tror hvis noe så slår vi den gule, men den lupa føler jeg ikke garanti å gå I.
So there was no double on.
Jeg liker den her. 4.
But I think he's probably resorted to going for the guard and making Schwaller play a difficult shot either for his one or a very difficult shot for 2.
So second stone then, last stone of the game, of this end, excuse me, for Magnus Ramsfjell with 1 to come for Stalker Rink. Placement of this stone absolutely critical. Is it over curling slightly?
If anything, he's shown him the side that he can afford to show.
Yes.
Because Schwaller will not necessarily want to come onto, well, he definitely won't want to come onto his own one.
Yeah.
But he's thinking he might manage to tap it back and get in the count 2.
This is a risk-reward shot here. If the angle is, I always find this with a top-level player, if the angle is there, even no matter how impossible it may look, you're always surprised with what shots can be pulled off sometimes, but this is a very, very hard shot to remove the red whilst not running back onto his own yellow and sitting 2. I think the main thing here is to not give away a steal. May just take your medicine, take the one and move on.
He might have to just take the one. And I think he's probably thinking that's the most likely outcome.
Because a miss, the consequences are big. Here it comes then, down towards the house. Important stone here. Looks a little bit on the high side, needs to curl.
He's not going to get big enough contact to this, Peter. He is.
Just about got the job done. Good stone there from Kim Schwaller. It took its time. It looked to be threatening to sneak past,
but it had good weight.
Yeah. So one to the Stalker Rink. Unfortunately, Eve Stalker not here and not a little bit under the weather. So Eves, I'm sure if you're listening and watching, hope you feel better soon. Wish you a speedy recovery and an early lead then for Team Stalker and for Ramsfjell holding their opponents with the hammer to just 1 stone, and they now will get the last stone advantage. And will we see them hit the gas pedal now and go on the attack? Quick update on some of the other games. Team Muirhead have gone into a 2-0 lead over Team Ukraine. Team British Universities of Aaron Thompson leading 1-0 over Team Genner. Team Klima have gone into an early lead 1-0 over Team Waddle. Team Brunner and Team Zhu are level pegging at the moment. Team Bryce have gone into an early lead 1 shot over Team Morizumi. Team Carson 2-shot lead over Team Thompson, and Team Craig a one-shot lead over Team Spitz from the Netherlands. All tight so far, right across the rink.
Traub opening up the third end here with a centre guard.
And does so.
Ramsfjell will be
Oh, is
pleased
it
with
going
his...
to overcurl though?
He's just off the line.
Oh, it has. That went sideways in the last foot and a half.
Yeah.
Ramsfjell's ignored it nonetheless.
Ramsfjell will be pleased with his guard at the last stone at the last end, forcing Stalker to take his one. It was a good turnaround. But it was a real ding-dong of an end. Everything changed, virtually every single stone there. I wonder how this end will take place. Well, this is looking a bit heavy.
Very heavy. Well, Kim Schwaller prepares to give it a big heavy sweep. Is it going to go all the way out? Yes, it is. Well,
Big mistake there.
that is a big error for no Tribe there. Excuse me, for Gouten Epstad. So now, without last stone, this gives the Swiss rink an opportunity to try and get early control of this end. But it's a sort of game where, you're right, Sandy, it's just going back and forth all the time. So imagine the percentages don't make particularly pleasing reading at this exact moment.
No, there's been a lot of half shots. That doesn't do your percentages a lot of good.
Good shot there though, from lead player Noe Traub. Playing super sub. So Ramsfjell calling for the ball right round here.
He tapped the top of the Yellowstone there, Peter, so he's looking to freeze the top of that Yellowstone, just where his Ramsfjell's brush is just now. That's where he was looking for it to go.
Looks on the high side again.
Rundt.
The weight a little bit more like it this time.
Ja, mot. Ja.
Might have to
Ja.
take it behind.
Ja. Ja. Den er forbi fortsatt. Kom igjen. Hardt. Hardt. 15-5.
That's
not great.
that was the worst of both worlds there.
Yeah. I think if he thought he was as wide and heavy as that, he probably would have taken it right back from early on, but he was planning to sit on top of it. Now Schwaller got a chance to take this and roll to the side a bit.
Must-win game for both sides, but particularly for Stalker. They've lost both games yesterday very narrowly. Team Ramsfjell, they're on. They've only played once, so they wouldn't if they lose this game.
11.
2 losses, no wins.
Got a chance here to knock this back and then freeze on top of the other one. That's what he's looking to do here. They need to start hitting a few more perfect shots. Accuracy is just a little bit
3.
down on
Yep.
what they would be expecting from themselves.
This is a
Whoa.
team that bronze medalist at the European Championships and one of the most competitive
Whoa.
European Championships in a long time.
And they definitely know how to play well.
Ah. 11-2. Bra.
Interesting that hasn't really been a great deal of stones that have been absolutely bob on perfect.
No.
They've all just been sort of, like you say, half shots. But that could be the story of the whole game. Could be one of these scrappy affairs where it's all about digging deep and making the very best out of every stone. Could be a game where the sweepers really make the difference of a win or a loss, and turning a half shot into a full shot. So, sort of heavy hack weight
Could
here.
get to the inside of it this time.
It's curling big. Here it comes. It's got past the guard.
That's a good shot.
Oh, good, and it's just nipping on the top of the 12 foot as well. Now,
Kom igjen, spiller igjen.
Ramsfjell's not liking how the...
no,
God
I wouldn't like it
Litt
either.
ekstra.
And of course now 5th stone is gone, so that stone on the centre line can be removed. I'm sure he's been desperately waiting for this opportunity. So it will be Bendik Ramsfjell, the second player, the spectacled Norwegian, putting the big weight behind this. And that will do it.
Clearance
Very good.
solved a bit of the problem.
When you're a second player, that is the one attribute that you really need, is to be able to provide demolition and removal services.
Well, Leeds don't get much of a chance of that nowadays. It's all doubled up into the seconds opportunity now, and they're good at it.
I just remember when we played club games, they said, "Do you want to play lead?" I'm like, "Yes, thank you." So
Because you can peel guards.
no, useless. Absolutely useless. So Team Swaller wanting these stones to be as level as possible.
He's working it hard.
Far away.
Pretty good. He's well swept.
What a fantastic shot there.
Split the house.
Brilliant shot there from
Like
Felix Eberhard.
Livsfull.
That makes it nigh on impossible. Well, it is impossible to remove those two stones at the same time, which of course then gives the Swiss rink a bit of control here.
Ramsfjell looking to hit and roll a little bit towards the house here. In the centre of the house. With a chance of making that double at some point in the next couple of stones. There we go. Good shot.
Bringing the play back towards, almost trying to bring those stones more closely together so that they could both be removed if they wished to. And that shot from Bendik Ramsfjell there to just reset the board a little bit, very important.
Bendik had two good shots that end. He's really turned the end round quite a bit.
Look at Magnus Ramsfjell there, just studying every last inch of that opposition stone to know exactly what it's doing down that line.
And he's straight in there looking for the double.
Yeah, they're now angling.
Two yellow stones were miles apart and no chance at all. Two stones later, he's got half a chance. He's got a good chance of getting a double here.
At this level, this is where the top teams can usually remove both of these stones. Not as a matter of routine, but sometimes it appears that way when they're on form. Let's see. Martin Sessaka, 30-year-old from Oslo. Something like that.
Is it going to spin back in?
Oh, no, not quite. Despite the best wishes of Bendik Ramsfjell there.
It would have been a perfect finish.
Nice.
So all of a sudden, no stones in play, just like that. Bendik Ramsfjell going for a quick. In fact, actually just going to get ready to play a stone. I'm liking this speed.
I think these guys think they're on the time clock.
That's good.
Either that or they've got a lunch appointment or something and they need to go quick.
Yes, they've got a booking at the Mercure 50 Mills for a gourmet lunch.
But I suppose these guys are playing with time clocks all the time. They're probably just, if there's nothing to think about, why think about it? Just go to the other end and get ready to play.
Exactly.
We both play golf. There's a thing called ready golf.
Yeah, always. Whoever's got the ball on a tee in their hand, go and hit your shot.
Ready curling's not a bad thing either.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Ramsfjell. Now with a straightforward take out here.
So now Team Ramsfjell will be looking to blank this end and try and move on with the hammer still in hand and try and score more than one in a future end. That would be the idea. Conversely, Team Stalker will be wanting to make that blanking of an end as difficult as possible. Interesting, they're trying to roll the shooter here over towards that stone that's just clinging on to make that blank even more difficult.
Det der den der dårlige sliden skal være ved å bomme et sekund på fart, liksom. Spare den som liksom bra satt I riktig fart til en viktig stein.
Yeah, every stone, there's no loose stone,
Det
there's
litt
no...
vanskelig å splitte den på siden, gjør det ikke?
He's just gone behind it.
So
Good effort.
we'll see
vanlig fart her.
we'll see Magnus Ramsfjell simply throw the stone straight through the back.
Yep.
Because he does not want to score one, but they will play it exactly as if the stone was there to get a bit of information on how the ice is performing, how it's moving. And notice there, Gauten Epstad holds his brush, and that gives them an idea how much ice they need to give in a future shot.
Ramsfjell watched it right till it went through the house there,
Yep.
so he might have to play that shot at some point.
Yep, that's the pro level, isn't it? Just watching everything, every little advantage you can get.
Build up the information.
Yep, exactly. So it remains 1-0 then to Team Stalker over Team Ramsfjell in this very tight, slightly tetchy encounter after 3 ends of play. Team Ramsfjell will maintain the last stone advantage. A very interesting game so far. Update on the other scores, you can keep an eye on curlingzone.com or perthmasters.com. Team Muirhead have a 2-1 advantage over Team Ukraine. It's 1 apiece with the British universities against Team Genner. Over on sheet A, Team Spitz are trailing Team Craik by 2-0. Team Carson are 2-1 up against Team Thompson. Team Bryce have a 2-0 lead over Team Morozumi. Team Zhu have gone into a 2-0 lead over Team Brunner, the most highly ranked team in this contest. They're ranked 11th in the world, are Team Brunner. Team Waddle and Team Klima close at the moment. They've got both 2 players standing in the way of the scoreboard at the moment, so we'll find out shortly what the score is there, but a fairly tight encounter so far. Back to our featured game. Team Ramsfjell looking to try and set something up here for when they've got last stone, but are they even going to make this over the hog line just? Oh well.
Waller's played the centre guard, and Ramsfjell's got a long corner guard.
Yeah, it's probably too long.
Question how useful that is.
No, not very. It's been a little bit of a loose start for Gauten Epstad.
Waddle is 1-0.
So yeah, 1 apiece then for Klima and Waddle. Team Waddle, they're top ranked team. They're wanting to try and go all the way in this tournament, and they cannot afford a second loss of the tournament. So the Swiss rink trying to bring a stone round that centre guard. They've done that beautifully, putting Team Ramsfjell under a bit of pressure here early on in this fourth end, excuse me.
Ramsfjell indicated that he just wants this to draw to the freeze to the face of the Yellows counter.
Litt tight.
And build up
Ren.
ahead.
Yep, linje. Hard. Hold linje, hard. Bare andre sida her, Bare få den helt ned,
Hard with the brims and then off. On-off is always a good sign.
Okay.
So,
Bra.
just binding on. Pretty good effort. Really good effort there. So third stone here, played by Tom Winkelhausen. Screaming sweep call there to say no, off. Looks a bit on the high side. It's maybe got a little bit too much weight on it to really curl in. They don't want it to go too far. And straight away Magnus Ramsfjell gets, look at that, explosive sweeping to try and drag that opposition stone back. Now there's an
Ligger
opportunity
sånn.
for Team Ramsfjell to
Nei,
get
spill den
control
alt, han,
back of
tror jeg.
this end,
Pil, Margin, bare ta den sånn.
but deciding to go maybe on a more conservative play here to try and clear things up a little bit rather than make a play straight away on that slightly deep Swiss stone.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Ramsfjell playing the same shot as they did last end.
Det er bra.
He's played it pretty
Nei,
well.
alt far da. Spiller jo en vanlig pil, sånn at hvis han treffer, så ruller han corner. Han hadde rullet ut med den farta der. Forsvinner jo halve poeng med å spille oppgaven.
Taking his own one out, maybe not a great result for him.
No. No, this does give...
Left a centre guard and potentially facing
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, that wasn't what they were looking for. Particularly when they had the option to draw in and make a play. It's easy to say now, of course, but after what Bendik pulled off in the previous end, you would have backed him to pull that shot off. But it's going to be one of these games where it's not going to be a game of perfection on either side. I don't think it's going to be a scrappy one.
Reaching the lead's freeze wasn't perfect and left it slightly off centre and didn't help. Now he's starting to think.
And now opportunity
Ja,
here
jeg tror jeg
for
liker det.
Bendik
Så lenge du er
Ramsfjell to
margin
get rid
tjukk,
of
så må
both
du
of
gjøre
those
det med
yellows
skyteren uansett.
of the Swiss team
Liker den,
at
men den er ganske
at
tjukk.
the front of the house, and if you catch them just right, you can spring down into the middle if you
Litt
wanted.
ekstra.
That's the absolute ideal scenario, but I wonder if they maybe actually play this a more controlled weight and try and hold the shooter as tight in the centre as they can.
Whoa, in.
Still a fairly strong weight though from Bendik Ramsfjell with his second stone. Opportunity for a bit of redemption here,
Veldig bra, Nick.
and that's
exactly what you call
absolutely
for,
A1.
Peter. Exactly what you call for. It's so easy up here.
Bendik Ramsfjell is like, your wish is my command. That's how you bounce back. Great stuff.
Schwaller now looking just to freeze on top of that.
You can see why Bendik Ramsfjell is playing second stones. It's just exactly got the exact skill set that player, that position needs. So the game changes, the end changes yet again.
He's been quite pivotal in changing ends. A couple of times Ramsfjell's been in real trouble and he's made a significant difference.
It's fun when you watch the world number one team Mao at play. You watch, Bobby Lammy. How many times does he do that in an end where you think, oh, they're in trouble already, and then bang.
And if it's not Bobby, it's Hardy playing after him.
Yes,
Hardy
exactly.
playing after him. It's,
Yeah, they're a formidable outfit, aren't they? They're the reference point in international curling at the moment.
yeah, fantastic to watch.
So Team Ramsfjell now with a stone counting at the moment, but a little bit vulnerable where it's sitting.
You could corner freeze that yellow one. Half guard he's shot.
Ligger bra. Yep. Yep.
They squeeze just past the guard and no more. Here it comes.
It's quite heavy.
Yep.
Veldig bra, Martin. Veldig.
Okay, it's through a lot at the end there. I don't think he'll be disappointed with that. I think he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I think it's a good effort. Good effort there.
Yellows could count as catchers at the back as well.
Yeah, good stone there from Martin Sessica. Now, Felix Eberhard for Team Stalker bursts out the hack with pace. Going to try and make something happen here with this centre guard, raise it and try and move some granite. Catches it bang on the centre. Oh. Not far away. But is this where Team Ramsfjell take a grasp of this end? Can they somehow get manufacturer 2 out of this and take a lead after 4 ends of play?
He's going to be tapping back that red. First of all, thought he'd come into the top of the white there, but now he's taken second thoughts and said, look, give me back 4 weight.
Let's have a listen in.
Jeg tror bare drar her. Så margin har.
Well, he indicated coming on to the top of his own red there.
Litt plass. Køl! Køl!
So here comes
Køl!
third player Martin Sessaker,
Ren!
3-time Norwegian
Yeah.
champion.
Is this far
Sånn,
enough?
sånn hit, hit. Se
I
som
don't
fart er
think it
hit.
is.
Bare bit av
They
fire,
need to
bit av
be
fire,
very
bit av
hard
fire.
on the brooms.
He's
Bit av
not
fire.
bad.
Er du bra
Great
der?
sweeping.
That's what he asked for.
14-9.
Just check on the line. It's maybe drawn a fraction more. Can you see it out the side? We can't see the red stones for the two in the head, but they are sitting off centre of each other, and they've been expecting
Her
it to
kostet
be
mer
one in
køl på
front of the other
8-meldingen. Da måtte vi
Whether
på
we can
innsida
see
her,
it
liksom.
coming
Det var
round.
derfor jeg gikk mer køl.
on the intern.
Hvis jeg hadde visst at den var 5-6, så hadde vi bare sagt linja bra, liksom.
See what the Swiss crew have
Ja,
to
det ble
say.
jo veldig bra, da. Det ble jo 3 centimeter fra det vi calla. Det ble jo veldig bra. Det er jo... Får alltid sitte 2 på nesten nå, hvis ikke han chapper runnen. Hva skjedde på bane E her, da?
A bit of a team conference here now. This is quite a crucial point in the game. All thoughts welcome here. I don't think you can see enough to come down on the intern with any pace there.
Spillrunnen av Pingle.
He originally indicated that when he first looked at it, and he asked his teammates to come and have a look.
Det er ikke så dumt heller, da. Ja, for hvis han spiller den, hvis han ikke gjør den,
Going on
hva gjør vi
really,
da?
but they seem to have
Da har vi
made
bare
made their decision.
Swiss or German?
de rør, liksom? Nei.
It's a combination.
Ja,
It's
gule hopp og sette opp en
Neither of
backing på
which you
det.
knew.
no, but I'm sure some of our international audience will.
Det har vært det beste.
I'm sure they do. And
Kan garde på
I
nytt,
look
og
at
så ta 2.
the guard straight back.
Ja, jeg tror
Ramsfjell's
ikke han
just
spiller runnen på
overcurled
nytt,
there
da.
a bit. He was
Eller,
desperate
han
not to
plukker
be
bare den han ser, da, i
short
så
in
fall.
it, and he just overcurled. He was wanted to be absolutely frozen on his own one.
It's a fine margin, very fine margin.
Ikke langt fra her,
His
altså.
own narrow back. Far away. That was a good shot. Good shot.
But
Han ser nok til å få en dobbel hvis vi slår den gule. Skal vi
Ramsfjell,
dra her,
the
da?
opportunity.
Litt
Puts
juletre.
Ramsfjell with 2 stones remaining, 1 left
Ja,
for.
så lenge vi er litt mer jevnt en kant. Han får jo ikke dobbel der noe lett uansett, så selv om vi ligger her, er jo ikke det krisen nødvendigvis.
Må sitte 2, da.
Ja, ja, altså hvis vi sitter her, så får han jo den, og så spiller vi sånn. Hvis vi dekker litt av den, så kan han ikke slå den og bli liggende bedre enn
As you say,
den.
crucial point in the
Her.
not only the end but in the game. Nobody
Prøver
else
bare
knows the
akkurat ikke
game.
bite senter.
Missed the
Sånn.
opportunity here, so it's quite crucial they know exactly what they're doing.
Of course, the Team Stalker desperate to get Team Ramsfjell to be held to a 1. Of course, Team Ramsfjell would love to score 2 here if they could take that a very finite control over the game.
Well, he tapped the top of the C in curling, and just above the button there
Så margin løs
is
er
where
også
he wants
greit.
it to finish.
Selv hvis vi ikke sitter 2, så er det vanskelig for han å slå den. Hvis det bare er sånn kant til kant.
I mean, he's given himself an easier one. If you go for one of the capital letters, you've got a bigger target area than if you go for the lowercase.
I've struggled to hit the rings.
So, Magnus Ramsfjell,
Nære. Bare fart.
4 times Norwegian champion, team
Litt
leader
plass.
of this Norwegian national team.
Linja er bra. Linja er bra.
They've been to
They're
get.
both on it.
Litt
They
plass.
have been on it
Køl.
hard, aren't they? Is it enough? Sweepers have had to work hard all game long.
Få den inn! Gå inn!
No, it's not there. Well,
Disappointed with that.
they'll be very disappointed with that. And with another switch stone in play there, sitting second shot.
Yeah.
That will give. Magnus Ramsfjell's given himself a lot to do there on his last stone. And more discussion.
I think the sweepers knew that was so far short. They were probably thinking, if we hold this out here, we may give ourselves half a chance at guarding.
Overraskende at den ikke var inn i det hele tatt engang. Fikk du tida på den? Ja. Jeg spurte om det fortsatt var glatt og føltes glatt, og han sa ja. Følte at jeg sparket jævlig hardt. Så ga han ikke så mye hånda, men jeg følte fortsatt den var hard da jeg slapp den egentlig.
Kim Swaller's made his mind up.
Men en halv stein lenger er det jo bra nok til å på en måte gjøre for å få noe forklare.
Take another look at it.
Fartsmengden bak der, altså det er vanskelig for meg å gjøre noe med det, men hvis de hadde meldt 3, så går vi jo aldri med køl på den, så klart.
75%
Skål på en måte.
But will it turn on? Will it
Det var
curl
som
on this
4-5, og da
handle?
var det jo fortsatt med køl, for ikke i dobbelen.
Change of mind. Going the other hand now, Kim Swaller. And the body language is interesting. When the brush is put down like that, that's saying this isn't up for discussion.
No.
I've decided we're doing this.
Winkelhausen wasn't for moving across the house.
No, that's Noe Traubach. She's got Winkelhausen's jacket on.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So, decided to go the other handle. That could be prudent, actually.
Andre gang de har spurt.
I think with the way that the ice is moving, I think this could be a good shout. And the problem is if he misses it, it does give an opportunity for two. So it is a risk
Fortsatt fris, da.
at the same time. But when the player playing the last stone makes a decision like that, sometimes you have to go with it. Or at least pretend that you're on board.
Han har i hvert fall ikke problem med å curle opp. 14-8 skal være T-line.
Looking good. He's looking very good. Well, Sandy, you called for the capital C of curling. And the bottom of the U. Very good.
Jeg tror det ser veldig vanskelig ut å følge etter og komme over nesa på den, liksom.
How do you even score a 1 out of this?
Spille med 11.
An opportunity for a steal now
12, 11.
for Team Stalker.
Kan være med på 11-5. Det blir gjetting på is her uansett.
Is that the only shot?
Ja, for det ser vanskelig ut å gjøre den her uansett. Det er ikke noe vits å ha fart til å spille hardt. Det eneste med å spille hardt er at den går lettere. Det er like 11.
There is almost, if you can pull this out, there is the opportunity of a 2. And again, player at this level, if it is physically possible, it can be done. But there's nothing off limits for top level curlers. It's a very finite margin, but there is a minute chance of 2. But there's a very high possibility of losing a 1 with the last stone. Oh. Over to you, Magnus Ramsfjell.
Contact in the middle. It's just what happens with the rest of it.
His own red is vulnerable where it is too. So the last stone of this fourth end.
Yep.
Just 1-0
Hard.
to Team Stalker at the moment.
Hard! Helt in! Helt in!
Yes, it is.
It's past. Oh, unlucky.
Oh, that was unlucky. And it looks like it's a steal of 1 then for the Swiss Team Stalker. Magnus Ramsfjell with that first stone, he just gave himself too much to do with that last stone. Had to play effectively the circus shot, and it just was too much of an ask. So the Swiss team, after 2 narrow losses yesterday, they go into a 2-0 lead at the halfway point. It's not been a blowout high standard game, but my goodness has it been exciting.
But there's been some turnaround shots and it's kept the thing alive as much as anything. Ramsfjell's by no means out of it at all. He's 2 down. He knows he's had chances, just didn't take them. That was a poor second last shot that he had there, which was really a setup for a 2, and ended up losing a 1.
Yeah, put himself in a corner a little bit. A quick update on the scores around the rink. The Team Craik are 2 shots to 1 ahead of Team Spitz from the Netherlands. It's 2 apiece now. Team Thompson against Team Carson. Team Thompson with 2 1s in a row to level that up. Team Bryce are 2 shots to 0 ahead of Team Morozumi. Team Zhu into a big lead early on against Team Brunner, the top-ranked team in this competition. So Team Zhu from China showing their intent early on. Team Klima are 3 shots to 1 ahead of Team Waddle. So Team Waddle staring, and 0-2 record in the face at the moment. Team GB Universities 3 shots to 1 over Team Genner, and Team Muirhead 2 shots to 1 over Team Ukraine, although Team Ukraine sitting against quite a few Muirhead stones at the moment. Thrilling games up and down. We've got live coverage of a featured game in every draw, 2 more to come today. We've got coverage a little bit later on at 2 o'clock local time. Alan Hanna and Mary Milne taking you through Morrison versus Rorvik, and then later on at 5:15, Alan Chalmers and Graham Cormack with Team Craik against Team Harstad. All live, all free here on perthmasters.com and on the Perth Masters YouTube page. But back to our featured game, and it is really, really exciting here between these 2 squads. 2-0 to the Swiss team Stalker. They're without their lead man, Yves Stalker, unfortunately at home unwell, but they've adapted well, and they lead the European bronze medalists, Team Ramsfjell, with 4 ends to play.
Yeah, the lower ranked team Schwaller is playing well against the higher ranked team Ramsfjell. You gave an update across the board there. This rink is probably half an end ahead of everybody else, so all these scores that Peter just gave you were for 3 ends, not 4 ends in most of the games, so this game is probably a good 10 minutes ahead of most of the other games.
We might get our lunch before everybody else. We'll beat the rush at the queue.
Knowing their luck, it'll go to next.
Well, it's going to go, and then there'll be a few big decisions to make.
We're hoping it goes to the next end.
Well, we've had a few last end thrillers on our live coverage so far.
This is coming up short.
Yep. Now, as we head into the second half of the game, we have seen the ice just starting to slow a little bit in the second part of the game. So the teams will need to adapt to that. And Team Stalker, they fell foul of that last night, that's for sure. As did their opponents, but it cost them dearly in the end, losing a 1 against the head in the last end. But they look to actually be getting more into their stride as the game goes on, the Swiss team.
Potentially the team trailing and having to play the exact precision shots all the time might find that more difficult.
Yeah.
There's a bit of extra weight on this one. Ramsfjell right on it, wants to make sure it's behind the tee.
There's been
it is.
A few times that's happened for the front end with the Swiss team. Magnus Ramsfjell looking through the port there to see what's what. Here are your updates of your scores so far. Very, very close across the board, really. With perhaps the exception of the Zhu Brunner game, where Brunner are yet to get on the board. A great shot through the port there.
Yeah, we nudged to the side.
Yeah. So Magnus, Bendik Ramsfjell playing superbly so far. He's pulled the shots off under pressure. I mean, 1 or 2 small mistakes, but in general, some very, very good play.
He's certainly been the turnaround player in this game anyway. It's not been a classic in terms of perfect shots, but he's the one that's made the shots that have changed the ends. Is he through?
No.
Oh, he's got wick.
Little rub. Of course, with Team Ramsfjell retain the hammer, having lost the previous end against the head. So 2 here would get them right back on schedule as such. So not a point to panic just yet.
He's trying to find a place where he can get good cover. These guards are not ideal for him.
Bare disse nesten umulig å bruke når det køler så lite der. Margin tynn sånn.
Like a split.
Prøve sånn.
Yeah, if a very delicate split here to move their own red that's closest to the house into the house and then roll the shooter across. It's very finite.
Might need a bit of handle on this to make sure the played shot actually spins into the house without the other one going out of the house.
Yeah, it's a delicate shot, but if it can be pulled off, it would put them in a really strong position with their own stones spread across the sheet, and with last stone it would put the Swiss rink under a lot of pressure.
And if your guards are not in the right place, you might as well make an effort at moving them.
Yeah, they're not in the useful position, you're right. It's not far away. Oh, the hat's fallen off. It's not a bad effort. It was a very, very finicky shot, but not far away. Hat is retrieved. Maybe a little chilly.
It's the problem of having so much hair.
It's underrated. Overrated, sorry.
I can't remember.
Neither can I. I have to say I've gone to wearing a cap playing curling now because my follically challenged head gets a little bit chilly. And the woolly hat's too much.
Swaller, fairly easy double now to change the end again.
Coming down with a fairly significant weight, going with the directional sweeping there, trying to get it to turn, and it's it's needed a tiny bit more curl. Now Ramsfjell, an opportunity here to remove this yellow stone, and roll behind some cover and sit 2. And there's a kind of a plan A and a plan B here. You can either roll tight and stay up the front of the house, or if they get it slightly thinner, rolling back to the kind of back right corner, almost at 4 o'clock as we see it, roll behind a bit of cover as well.
In. Yep. Hard.
It's not heavy.
Hard.
Is he going to catch enough of it? He removes the stone there, but just caught it too thin.
The reason this game is very close and quite exciting is there's an awful lot of half shots by everybody. It's on both sides, and it's kept the game interesting. I'm sure the skips must be frustrated out there.
It's one of these tetchy encounters, but these are the encounters you've just got to try and survive. You've got to try and emerge through. It's one of those games where you come up to the bar thinking, "Oh, that was a close one," but we squeaked through there.
It's maybe a classic game if nobody wants to lose this and they're trying really hard to play the perfect shot and it's just not coming off.
Yeah, there's big pressure on. And Ramsfjell trying desperately to get that.
Spun back in for him.
Yeah. He's ignored it though. He's going to try and out-count it here and remain behind cover with a draw.
He definitely doesn't hang about when he decides he's shot.
No, it's brilliant.
I mean, it's
Absolutely brilliant, and he's.
It was fairly clear for most skips, but I mean, he's right into it. You're drawing over there.
He's asking Martin Seska for a delicate draw to the edge of the 8 foot here. Brushes on it early. They've left a lot of stones short in this game. Hopefully they won't be wanting to do the same again. They're working it really hard. I don't think it's there. It's nowhere near.
Look at the line too. The line was fine.
Yeah, the line was good, but it's 10 foot short.
Yeah, poor.
Opportunity now for the Swiss to put their hold now on this game, because if they can force Team Ramsfjell to a 1, they go 1 up with 3 ends to play with the hammer. A good position to be in.
In the other Group A game across on sheet B, Carson's just taken a 4 in the 4th end to a big 4 to go 6-2 up on Thompson, so that leaves him in a reasonably strong position in this group so far.
That's a huge end. That's a huge end. And Team Ukraine battling hard against Team Muirhead. Local team are seriously high level curlers, and they are 2 apiece. Not quite sure if that came through on our microphones, but someone's swatting flies out on the on the sheet. A little bit of frustration coming out.
Guessing that wasn't his best shot.
No.
He played a good one here. He was just a fraction short, but he'll be happy enough with that.
Yeah, it does make life challenging for Team Ramsfjell.
Ramsfjell's now thinking, I need to really get the 2 here. I need to play a perfect shot in behind the guard. Ignore the 2 in the house.
Change the momentum.
Yeah.
The momentum's flowing towards the Swiss at the moment, and that's not what they need. This is where the top skips come into their own. They've watched the end sort of go out of their grasp, and now they get to go back to the hack and try and bring it back under control. Big shot here for Magnus Ramsfjell. Having lost narrowly yesterday in their one and only game so far of this tournament, they desperately like to get a win on the board, because going 2 losses, no wins, their chances of qualification become slimmer. So we're trying to get this stone nice and well covered. You can get a bit of backing as well from the Swiss yellow stone sitting at the back of the house. It does.
It's coming from.
Looks to be certainly deep into the house.
That's where he needs it.
On off. Looks to be very, very good.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Cracking shot there. Cracking shot.
That's really what he needed.
That's a top line skip right there. Under pressure, up against it, back against the wall. Fist bump. Double fist bump. Must be good. I was thinking, watching the volleyball in the Olympics, they would give each other a high five, good, bad, or indifferent after every point, and you think that just defeats the point of it. It's just meaningless.
Ser nok til å ta den akkurat, tror jeg. Eller akkurat dagen man ser nok til å spille nettfart på den, men det mindre
A bit of
finish enn det er køll
discussion
på midten.
here of what to do next. And again, Kim Swaller saying, let's do this.
Du køler mer før hogg enn etter hogg.
So if
Swaller was right the last time when he changed his shot. He knows what he wants to do.
Yep. Yeah, he's a real instinct player, young player, very confident, 21 years old. Used to play with Noe Traub, who stepped in for Yves Stocker. He also played with his brother Yannick in St John's out in Canada about 5 weeks ago. So has real top level experience. Been curling since the age of 8. So if he can lift this shot, he'll put himself in a really good, commanding position, but strong position. He's not lifted it. No. Now.
Same shot again for Ramsfjell. For the 2.
For the 2. Yep, open shot for the 2 here for Magnus Ramsfjell. They are now I'm surprised the handle he's playing here.
Yeah, I think he just wants to come onto exactly the same shot as he played the last time.
Use his own as backing.
Potentially, you would have thought that the drop to 4 foot would have been obvious, but he likes the same shot again.
I suppose he's just thrown it. Yeah. And when the ice is maybe not quite under control with it, or quite on top of it, that's a great shot.
Good.
He's virtually landed it on top of his previous one. So a 2 then for Team Ramsfjell. They looked like they were under pressure midway through that end. It looked like it could have been going the way of the Swiss team, but it's 2 shots then for Team Ramsfjell, and it's all level pegging with 3 ends to play in this thrilling encounter here in the 2025 Mercure Perth Masters. Looking around the rink, it's 4 shots to 1 in the Craik versus Spitz encounter in favour of Team Craik. That 4 for Team Carson, hugely important to go 6-2 ahead of Team Thompson. Team Morozumi have nipped one back against Team Bryce. It's 2 shots to 1 in favour of Bryce at the moment. Team Zhu from China are putting in a huge performance against Team Brunner at the moment. 6-0 ahead at this moment. Team Klima are 3 shots to 2 ahead of Team Waddle after 4 ends of play. Team British Universities are 4-1 up against Team Genner, so after their win last night, really kicking on with some confidence. And Team Ukraine are 2 shots all with Team Muirhead. So if you're joining us on the Mercure Perth Masters YouTube page, a very warm welcome to you. Watching on perthmasters.com, warm welcome. Also, thank you for your company. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching with, who you're cheering for, most importantly of all. Hello to Jim Scottfridge, saying good curling, great win for Carson last night. And can we have more updates of the score on the screen? We will do our very best, as we can do. This score here, all level pegging in this game here between Team Ramsfjell and Team Stalker. All level pegging, 3 ends to go, with Team Stalker with the last stone for this 6th end, this crucial 6th end. You look at the stats; those 6 ends are often vital to the outcome of the game. Very finely poised here, 2 shots all.
Ramsfjell's got his centre guard on and now looking to come around it.
Yep, Bendik. Yep. Bendik. Hard. Hard. Whoa. 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 Bare fart. Bare fart.
So Team Ramsfjell will be hoping to try and force Team Stalker to a 1 or even better steal here.
14-2. Ja. Ganske treigt.
A steal would be the ideal scenario. And then force Stalker to a 1 and take last stone in the last. That's the ideal scenario. Often doesn't work out that way, but that would be their ideal intention.
The way this game's gone in the last few ends, anything could happen.
That's very true. That's very, very true. Nothing has really been conventional so far.
No, but that's what's made it interesting.
Definitely so. Swiss with a bit of control of the front of the house now. Magnus Ramsfjell looking, going, can I get rid of them and keep my own red? Probably not. But he's called for another guard, actually, has Magnus Ramsfjell. Pointing up towards the guard zone. And he's certainly asking a big variety of shots of his older brother, isn't he? He's had to do clear-outs, he's had to do draws, he's had to do guards, the whole menu of curling shots. Aston Bendik Ramsfjell, playing second, has delivered on most of them.
Yeah, he's played well. It looks like it's swinging a bit.
It is. Is it going to check there? It's just really went at the end, didn't it? Yeah, and that means that although it's obviously good enough because the Swiss want to get rid of it. That's always a sign you've played a good guard when it gets removed or attempted to be removed at the next stone.
He's got a double raise, but left the yellow there.
Yeah. So again,
I think Ramsfjell likes these two yellows that are quite close together and slightly offset. I'm not sure it would lift the red if he hit the yellows there. So he's probably quite liking them as almost guards in the house.
Seems that way. Yeah. So Ramsfjell,
Bit of protection.
Calling for a stone just on that blue and black logo in the centre. This is where that sweeping call is so important, just to get everything just right. But it looks a fraction heavy and a fraction high at the moment. Sweeper's going nowhere near it right now. And it doesn't even need it. Give the sweepers a break. That's my fitness level when there's a stone that's maybe just a fraction heavy and you can just let it do its own thing.
We're at the sixth end.
I've run out of energy by this point. Not such an issue for these athletes.
No, these guys are athletes. These guys are fit. Another good shot.
But they didn't get to have a sausage roll this morning, I did, so who's winning there?
Back to the same guard again.
Yeah, just kind of locked in a bit of a stalemate here. But it requires the precision to keep laying those guards.
And with only one guard on, there's always the ability to drive that one back into the pack.
Hard, hold in there. Hold in there, hard. Hard, Jette, hold in there. Hold in there. Ren og død.
Sweeping for distance here, it's a good bit shorter than it was before.
Yeah, Martin Seska playing with a lot of handle there. It's on the centre line, it's not bad. Not bad, maybe a couple of feet short where they ideally wanted it.
Swaller's signalling for his player to come down. He wants a bit of a discussion about this.
Well,
I'll let you tune into the Swiss German. See over there. So we're just wondering whether these, if he hits the yellow here, that moves the red at all in any way. It might do. This is what they're talking about. This is a conundrum here.
It's slowing down for you guys as well.
Move these yellows anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
Just
I went from 15 to 14 in one end. It's like feels like you're throwing a hack waiter just for T-line now.
Get access to a free
Yeah.
Interesting.
If that's the 17, that's just a
if you
shit
caught a
throw,
little bit of fruity language there, but I think it was actually a little bit of one sheet to the next discussion there.
Okay.
And they're talking about it going from 15 seconds to 14 seconds in one end. Okay. What they're talking about there is the seconds it takes from hog to hog, so the ice is getting slower.
Right. Which is what we were seeing on the last end with some unusually short stones, particularly out in the wings.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily bad play, it's just the changing conditions are changing so much that they can't keep up with it.
Yep. And that seems to be the pattern throughout the session so far. So
we would probably call it the ice is getting flatter
yes,
as the game goes on. These guys are sweeping so hard, they're knocking the pebble off the ice fairly robustly, and it's not lasting the full 8 ends.
It'll be at a completely different wear rate to a club game, for example. Totally
Absolutely.
Different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Swaller's changed the angles there a bit. I'm not, the yellow frozen on the red there does change the end as far as he's concerned. He didn't like it when it was sitting with that offset angle there before. It's important that got changed. He's now got a couple of options there.
This is not good for Ramsfjell, I don't think, because
Ramsfjell feels vulnerable.
very vulnerable. Although his stone, that you might be thinking, oh well, his stone is counting first shot at the moment, but it is in the most vulnerable position. Any contact whatsoever, and it's out of there. And the Swiss team can sit 3. So, what do you do here to try and change the status quo? Well, so Magnus Ramsfjell calling to kind of sit in that little nestled bed there. And try and again change the angles and get a little bit more red granite in there.
Well, even if he tapped back this yellow and rolled his own shooter between the 2 yellows, he's going to probably always lose that red on the button.
Hard! Kom igen! Hard!
Is he on the guard?
You're going to have to work it very hard, yeah.
It's all over the guard.
Oh my.
That was not what he wanted.
That is another error there from Martin Sessaker. Well. It's going to be again down to Magnus Ramsfjell to try and bring things back under control a little bit, perhaps. So a bit more discussion now what to do here. Do they try and lay another one in on top? They've got last stone as well, of course, do the Swiss team, so they are still in a strong position. Almost a slight embarrassment of riches here, actually.
He's definitely going to get a play on this only red shot in the house via a yellow.
This is
swinging as well.
Hard. Yeah, this is on the guard
too.
too.
He's on the guard as well.
Oh my word. And that opens things up.
I wonder, Peter, if it's getting slower and swingier just because it's getting flatter.
Yep,
You know,
I
these
think
are
so.
two fairly unconventional, well, not unconventional, but unexpected misses.
Yeah.
Kanskje. Vi gjør kanskje det, treffer sånn
Guys,
70
this classic curling.
på den deep med
And
ekstra,
now
liksom.
there's an open
Litt ekstra.
shot here for
Jeg tror kanskje det er
Magnus
call,
Ramsfjell
egentlig.
to
Gjør det vanskelig for han å
remove
få
at
gratis
least
på det.
2 Swiss stones and
Guard
at
her.
least cut down the damage. And
Selv på garden,
potentially he is going to have to sacrifice that red that's sitting short at the moment. That's the only thing, but it's going to be sacrificed, I think, anyway. So I think you've just got to limit the damage here, and hopefully you've got a chance with your second stone to make something happen. Or are they going highly risky and throw another one in there? No, they're not. I would have thought that would have been interesting. See what they're talking about.
Jeg kan spille alt den. Gi meg litt is på, da. Skal det gå an å doble de to øverst og rulle frys?
The top right hand one.
Sånn
As we see it.
65-70 på den
Get
Grete
that.
sitter på.
Run back a little
Alt den
bit
ekstra.
to sit on top of the yellow.
Yeah. I
Touch
think
mer,
that's going to
Grete.
play. Big shot here for Magnus Ramsfjell.
As you said, if nothing else, you clear out 2 yellows,
Yeah.
limit the damage a bit.
Yeah, you almost don't want to get too cute here.
Go
And
straight through the middle.
kicks out the hack with huge speed, huge weight. He's got to play huge weight here as he comes charging down towards the head. They're trying to work the brush as well. Here it comes into the head now.
Not really.
No.
He was expecting a much bigger roll there.
Yeah, proving to be pretty tricky. Now, Kim Swaller, what do you do now?
Vi har ikke spilt noen så harde med kølen ennå, så jeg var litt sånn usikker på hvor mye den skulle køle. Skulle holdt på is på treff.
You'll see the sheet next to this game has stopped. That was the SUI game against Brunner. Brunner picked up a 1 and they shook hands after 5 ends.
That's a huge win for Team SUI to beat Team Brunner, the top-ranked team in this competition. Now, Team Brunner, that was they won Team 5-3 against Team Hostmeligen in the opening draw yesterday. So that puts them on 1 win and 1 loss. Team SUI, perfect record so far. That's their 3rd win of the championship. In fact, that puts them on 3 wins with just 1 more draw left to go.
They would have a bye.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're pretty well through.
Yep. Brilliant stuff. Not necessarily a huge surprise. They're of course ranked in the top 20 in the world at Team SUI. So one of 4 teams in the top 20 competing in this 2025 Mercure Perth Masters. Team Brunner, Team Ramsfjell, Team Wardle and Team SUI all in that top 20 ranking. But all trying to get into that top 15 so they can go to the Canadian Grand Slams. Speaking of Team Waddle, they've levelled up their game 3 apiece against Team Klima. So all poised finally there.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, he's got just enough. That's a great shot.
Well, that's a fantastic shot there.
Oh,
He's got both white socks on show now. That must mean he's extra happy. Maybe they're lucky socks. You'd hope so. You'd hope so. Now, for Magnus Ramsfjell, this is a horrid position with his last stone. I mean, where do you place the stone, or what do you do?
Limitation here, isn't it?
Yeah, take your medicine.
It's a long time to think about it, though.
No, I think it's just take your medicine here. Can all 3 go? Can all 3 go? I wonder. If you look at this, possibly.
Possibly, you'd have to be really thin in the top left-hand one.
Yep. So he's going to have a go at it. Big weight here then for the last stone for Team Ramsfjell, with 1 to come for the Swiss. They've been called on to sweep hard. The hat's gone again. And across the... Oh no. That's...
It was almost a shot where you definitely had to take 2.
Yeah.
And make him draw for these 2. But now he's drawn for 3.
Yeah. That's a hammer blow to the hopes of Team Ramsfjell, with a loss yesterday. On your screen it says after 4 ends we've played 5 ends. It's coming towards the end of the 6th at the moment, so 2 ends to go after this one. And if the Swiss team can get their 3, they would go into real control of this game with 2 ends left. Team Ramsfjell, a loss here for the European bronze medalists would be quite a shock, actually. But they haven't
played well enough.
No, they haven't played well enough. As a crew, they haven't, no.
Leading 3rd had a couple of shots where they really would be below par. Good 3 for Stalker, though.
Yeah.
They're in a strong position.
No, they deserved that. They played well. They didn't make mistakes. They played the right shots at the right time. And it's a little bit of confusion and despondency from the Norwegian crew. They go 5 shots to 2 down with just 2 ends left to play. Game on. Team Stalker with looking good to get their first win of the campaign under their belt. Looking around the rest of the rink, Team Muirhead have managed to take a 2 to go 2 shots ahead of Team Ukraine with 3 ends left to play. Team GB Universities managed to get a win against Team Genner for their second win of the tournament, so they're looking strong for a quarter-final berth. Team Klima 3 shots all with Team Waddle. A win already in the bag for Team SUI. Very tight as well in the Bryce versus Morozumi game. Bryce 2 shots to 1 ahead at the moment after 5 ends. Team Carson 6 shots to 2 ahead after 5 ends. And Team Craig lead 4 shots to 1 after 5 ends over Team Spitz. In fact, they lead 6 shots to 1 over after 5 ends, excuse me.
Perfect. 2-2-0. Perfect.
So
Swaller brings his
Pressure on.
first shot straight into the forefoot with such a commanding lead. He's quite happy to bring the play into the house. Ramsfjell has to put a corner on and make some big plays this end.
This has got to be a 2 at a bare minimum for Ramsfjell.
Yeah, to stand any chance at all.
Yeah, even with a 3, yes, he would level the score up, but he would not have the last stone advantage. However, Team Stalker went into the last end last night with the hammer, all square, and lost. So it's that play on their mind? I'm not sure. Potentially.
Some of this will be to do with ice conditions. If it's changing as much as it is at the moment, you know, the accuracy of getting these shots exactly where you want them to be becomes much more challenging. Whereas if you're asked to throw one on top of the other here, it's probably less difficult to do that.
So Magnus Ramsfjell ignoring those 2 Swiss Yellowstones in the house. Going to play, try and put another corner guard up there, try and give some cover, try and build the end. Because like we say, it's an absolute bare minimum of 2 required here.
This is slow as well. Look, this is just over.
Is it over the hack?
Is it over?
Is it over the hog, sorry?
Just,
and no more, to the point where it's pretty useless where it is.
yeah. Oh, your next guard has to be miles up.
Martin Sessaker has changed his hat. He's ditched the beanie hat. He's gone for the cap now.
Okay.
The beanie's lost. He's lost the beanie a couple of times.
Let's hope the cap is a bit tighter than the beanie.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not sure it was his lucky hat.
It's not been bringing him luck. No, definitely not. So again, another. I mean, it's a real free kick there for the Swiss to bring another one straight into the house, with the guard just played by the Ramsfjell rink not really providing any kind of cover at all. Just nipping at the top of the house. That's reasonably useful there too. This is when you're 3 down with 2 to go. Everything has to be perfect. You cannot afford the mistakes. Your mistakes have to be on your opponent's side.
Going down the right hand side of the sheet, there really is no protection there whatsoever, because that guard is so long. So he's now thinking, I can see half of the shot there, can I hit off this and go to the corner guard? But he's even thinking, do I freeze against it? He's going for his original shot, which is tap back the yellows and roll to the corner.
Tapping the foot there, signalling a hack weight. It's quite a lot of ice for hack weight, I would suggest.
Yep.
He's got two options here. He could always clip off the top one. And it's looking as if he might be doing that the way they're sweeping at the moment. That doesn't look halfway at all, does it?
No, it's nowhere near. Oh dear.
Kom igjen. 14-2.
Well, for Team Ramsfjell,
That
they're
was
two.
short at front ring. The way
Yeah,
Magnus is struggling to know
Yeah.
what to do here.
yeah, and that's at least 12 feet away from where it should be. And players at this level, you wouldn't expect that. Having to adapt all the time. And it leaves the luxury really for the Swiss to actually remove one.
Swallowed a free hit there, but he's now put on another
They put on another corner, and actually now makes it a little bit more complicated with that. Strangely, that long guard actually now does come into play in a way, because there's kind of double guard situation. But again, Ramsfjell
He wants to move some of the yellows away from the centre here.
bump his own red in.
Yeah.
This could be another momentum swing. An opportunity here for Bendik Ramsfjell to bring things under control a little bit more.
7-8.
He's just cleared one of them out
Yeah,
and not the shot off the
no.
centre.
That was a chance not taken. Interesting. So Kim Schwaller calling for a freeze onto that guard of Team Ramsfjell to effectively negate its use as a driving stone to come into the house. Oh, he suggested it, but I think the team have gone, do we really need to be that cute with it, or do we just keep this simple? It's a risky. Maybe is it an unnecessary risk here?
Is he guarding the outside of the two yellows?
Possibly,
there?
yes.
He initially went to the front of the house to do that, and then he looked as well. Let's come between the red and the yellow. As you say, does he need to do that much?
It's sitting a bit on the high side. Is it a
If
bit
this
heavy?
runs too far, it could end up that freeze that you talked about, sitting between the red and the yellow.
Samme.
Stops the drive back. What is?
Well, it leaves a bit of an opportunity.
So there was a double on the outside of these two
8.
yellows before, but that's now blocked. That he can only play it off the red.
So a tap on the shoulder there for Magnus Ramsfjell, signalling a strike weight. Not a full peel weight, more of controlled strike weight here. Here it comes.
It's not bad effort.
That's a very good effort. Yeah,
Yeah,
big
good.
hard sweep
Keep it
there
out.
from Gaute Nepstad, but the two yellows just hang around. But
But he spread them away from the centre,
Yeah.
which is, if nothing else, he definitely needs to score this end.
yeah, or potentially manufacture a blank and try and score 3 in the last.
Yep.
But it was a good shot there from Martin Sessaker. It really needed to be. Great awareness there from
helpful.
Magnus Ramsfjell. He spotted the stone spinning and swept at that just the last couple of inches. And now Team Ramsfjell have
Vi må bare få noe bak de
a
her.
real chance to blank this end if they wanted to, and just simply take their chances in the last end. Because when you have that last stone,
Well,
you can make things happen. But whoa,
he's looking a long split there. He's trying to get multiple shots in the house, or does he just go for the straight
10-5.
hit and roll? He's got at least two guards to cover. I think that's what he's going to go for.
yeah, he's going for it. Score the points now rather than try and score them later. So, important shot here from Martin Seska. Hasn't quite been on his top game. He's crouching down, watching the stone all the way. Very well played. Very well played. Cover, gets it behind the cover. It's been the change to the cap. That's the game changer.
Must be. He had a lucky cap somewhere.
But
we just didn't know which one it was.
that beanie, it can't stay on your head. It only came. It didn't even come over his ears. That's a useless beanie hat. Stick to the cap.
Schwaller now. It's not a long race. But he's hitting red onto red, so he's hoping. Ramsfjell's hoping for a jam here somewhere. He's not going to get it.
So now, 2 stones to play for Magnus Ramsfjell, and the chance of scoring big here is perhaps less.
Yeah.
So do you then go, right, do we try and go for the blank? Let's all listen to what they're thinking. Magnus Ramsfjell is so decisive, we never get a chance to listen to him.
No, he starts the top left of the rings there. He cannot set up a double here. He's got to not go too deep and give Stoker a chance, or Schwaller a chance of a double. So keeping it level, top of the house on the left hand side is where he indicated.
So first stone of this penultimate end then for Magnus Ramsfjell, a 4-time Norwegian champion, up against it in the early stages of this 2025 Mercure Perth Masters.
Looks pretty good.
It does look good. He's been drawing well, been drawing very well.
He's gone back a little bit.
Magnus Ramsfjell. They're reasonably level though. And straight away Kim Schwaller's looking, going, can I get across? I would need pretty enormous weight to get across there and remove. But you think Kim Schwaller's the sort of player where he spots it, he sees it, he backs himself at every opportunity. Can he get a chance to
take this red out and actually lie shot guarded?
Well, that's the easier shot? Is it? Well,
I don't know if it would be guarded or not.
No. And you don't want to leave an open draw for a 2 because Ramsfjell's going to nail it every time.
It's just even if he can get it under some cover, but he has to be short, or else Ramsfjell will just go for the draw.
And the last thing you want to do is make a big mistake and then leave 3 as well. So yeah, I think also if you give away a 2, you're going into the last with a shot advantage. So
you would think
that's not a disaster at all.
Although you said his game yesterday.
But he was level at that point. So one better, that would be, let's see, Kim Schwaller. White Sox Schwaller. They're wanting it to Carroll. Playing it with a fairly quiet weight actually. Is that shot? Just, I think.
I think it is, yeah.
Just, yeah. So that leaves a slightly more challenging shot than the open draw, I would say. But it should be meat and drink.
Maybe if the ice has changed a bit for weight, you'll probably prefer this shot. But
possibly, yeah.
Saying that, the ice has changed weight-wise. Ramsfjell played a good draw.
Yeah, he's adapted very well.
Absolutely spot on.
He's obviously getting good information from his sweepers of how the ice is evolving. So, yeah. So a shot for 2 then to at least be in the ball game in the final end. Being called on.
Having to sweep this hard.
Yeah. Got to hit and stick here. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, played a steady weight there. That's a good 2.
So a 2 for Ramsfjell. we said they needed that as a bare minimum. They've got it, so they go 1 behind then with 1 end to play. 5 shots to 4 in favour of the impressive young Swiss rink Team Stalker, with Eve Stalker unfortunately watching from home, not well at the moment. We wish him well, but being led well by the young star Kim Schwaller, who's played some excellent shots throughout the game. So here we go then, final end, and it will require a steal of 2 for Team Ramsfjell, or steal of 1 to force an extra end, a steal of 2 to win the game. But without last stone, that's going to be tricky. Over on sheet H, it's now a 5 shot to 2 advantage for Team Muirhead over Team Ukraine, and a result then also in the Craik versus Spitz game, Team Craik taking a convincing win there. It's all close in the Bryce versus Morozumi game. 4 shots to 1 there with 2 to go. And the Waddle Klima game, 4 shots to 3 in favour of Team Klima after 6 ends. But our feature game finally poised then, a guard right on the centre line played by Team Ramsfjell. So that cannot be moved in the first 5 stones of the end. I mean, going into a last end, you can never be comfortable, but for the Swiss crew, having that shot lead and last stone advantage, it's about as comfortable as you could ask for, really, in a game like this. They've just got to get the job done, though.
He's short of weight there and ended up coming to rest against it.
Yep.
Not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. And of course, Ramsfjell, they only have to steal the 1 to force an extra end.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you're Team Stalker, you're thinking, oh, we had that game in the bag and here we are on an extra end, what's going on?
Yeah.
We certainly picked a thriller for our featured game yet again. Have Team Ramsfjell got it over the hog line? Are they going to be able to get this over the hog line? Just.
He's got his long guards in. Schwaller now coming on the other hand.
Top marks to both of these teams there. As you rightly spotted, Sandy, they are miles ahead on time of everybody else.
Might be the last game out, though, if it goes to the next
Well,
round.
it could well be. They've been on the ice, still under. Yeah, the game has been going on for less than 2 hours, so they're really on a good speed.
It's a bad shot, but Ramsfjell will like one fractionally behind the tee.
Yeah, he'll be licking his lips here. That was just, a couple of feet too far. Nothing appears to wipe the smile off Kim Schwaller's face, though. He's always having a ball out there. So Team Ramsfjell really trying to put the bind on here, try to make a steal. They cannot afford mistakes.
Yeah,
they're both working the brooms hard. As this short again for Bendik Ramsfjell. Have they got enough on it? Working it hard.
Feels if it's the right weight.
They've got it past the guard with plenty to spare. Here it comes.
It's not a bad position, that, even if it is short.
Yeah, well played. Well played. The great work from the sweepers there. It looked short. The sweepers working hard. And unsurprisingly, Kim Schwaller does not like the look of this mess out the front. They've got last stone. They don't want any kind of interruption. Got to try and clear the deck here a little bit, which will be the job of young Tom Winkelhausen.
Just peel one, though.
Yep, they've got time. Now, the question is here, if you're Ramsfjell, do you throw another guard up there or do you bring more red stones into play? Looks like the latter.
Danger is these two guards are fairly close together, and the chances are they'll both spring at one with one shot. So do you stick another one out? As you say, is it too early? He's definitely asking his players what they think. This is a very much a 50-50 shout.
Yep. They're going for it. I'm into... Bendik Ramsfjell has just played that shot, so the ice isn't going to change much in 90 seconds.
No.
So you've just thrown it, throw it again. I don't know if Bendik Ramsfjell is sure about this. He's just hesitating a little in the hack, but here he comes now. He's just thrown this exact shot.
They swept it all the way the last time, so
they did.
A little bit extra weight. Might not need the same sweeping.
But then if you're too heavy and you spring out, they're on it early. They're on it very early. You watch the stone just kind of kick off a little bit there.
He needs to curl it.
Actually, maybe hit that a bit hard too early. It's overswept early, I think. It's now on a bit on the high side. Oh, I think they swept that. They jumped on that too early. That's a sweeping error for sure.
Passed the guard by a lot.
A long way. Yeah, that's a big sweeping error there. And Bendik Ramsfjell looking at his two sweepers, going, guys.
He was exactly the right weight. He was a foot more than the last
just
time.
Overswept.
A couple of feet more. As you say, jumped on it early and it just lost it.
It kicked out as soon as those two brushes hit it. The stone kicked out, and that leaves an opportunity now for the Swiss.
Peel weight here. Can he catch the edge of it? Oh, he's not getting anything.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, boy. He missed that by a mile. He was looking to catch the edge of the yellow and even spin the yellow in, but
well,
that was another chance for Ramsfjell.
Tom Winkelhausen, at least he saw the funny side of it. He was having a joke with Felix Eberhard. I don't know quite if he got the joke. Well, opportunity now for Martin Sessaker, 30-year-old from Oslo. They'll now be maybe a little bit careful not to jump on this too early. That was a big sweeping error in that on that previous shot. They've got a chance. They've been given a reprieve actually. Both sweepers working it hard.
This is much lighter.
It's much lighter.
Might be the dead draw though. No,
yeah, the sweepers working it really hard. All those hours in the gym, they come out now. The legs will be burning, arms will be burning, everything will be burning.
Oh no, he's not. Spun over at the end there, and it's actually now covering any potential raise.
Big decision to make here now for
Schwaller's instinct saying take the guards off, but on the other hand he's probably thinking it.
I think you've got to take the guards off.
Yeah,
I think you've got to get rid of them, but you've got last stone, you're one ahead. Just don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. I think that maybe the challenge is though, can you get rid of both those guards and get rid of the shooter as well, the way that they're sat?
Well, the idea of hitting the yellow one first is at least if you've got a spinning shot going into the house, it's a yellow one, not the red one.
Yep. Yeah, better firing your own stone in there than your opposition's.
There's quite a lot of shrugging of shoulders and leaning on brushes here. I think there's he's back to the shot they had before. It wasn't the wrong shot, it was just the wrong execution.
Body language is a universal language, isn't it? Interestingly, on the previous on one of the neighbouring sheets, a stone coming up short of the hog line for Team Klima, so the ice is clearly it's getting a little bit slower this latter part of the session for all teams. So big weight here coming down then for Felix Eberhard.
Better line this time. Oh, he was looking
well.
He didn't catch his own one there.
Well. So for Team Ramsfjell, can they make a play? Yeah, Magnus Ramsfjell looking in going, can we?
If it looks hard enough, that yellow might move.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that
Cozy it in.
the raise was on before on the reds, but I think that yellow shot at the top of the house has just blocked that. So he's going back to the draw.
I think they've got to be aggressive. They've got to go for the draw, and it's the finest of margins here to try and sneak the stone in.
He knows it. He's played that 3 times already this end.
Yeah.
He'll know the line.
Yeah.
It's just getting the
weight.
perfect combination.
Yeah. Sweepers leaving it alone most of the way here. Now they're starting to introduce some brushes in.
Here, but it needs to curl.
It needs to curl big time. Is it too heavy to be able? They want to sweep it to bring it over, but it's just a fraction heavy, and that's going to. Magnus Ramsfjell straight away wants it out of the way. He was actually sweeping that early, so get rid of it. Well, does that?
They've had chances, haven't they? They've had 2 or 3 chances
He's
to come
not,
down that out turn.
He's what is he there? 2 feet away from where he needs to be, but that's.
But he was given the same ice there. He gave the same ice as he gave the last shot when he came up short.
Yeah. A very tense final end here. Final scheduled end. Could we be going down an extra end? Well, it will require Team Ramsfjell to steal in this end. So, second stone then for Felix Eberhard, 25-year-old, previous third player for Christian Heinemann.
He's given a bit less ice than what Ramsfjell was given there, but he's
very high
he's
as
full
well.
Up in weight.
Here it comes now. Is the weight going to come
off
off
behind the tee?
It is. Now that was not where you wanted to be.
Do you think he could hit the? He's wanting to freeze again. I just wondered if he even hit the yellow at the back, would it shoot across and catch the yellow on the centre?
Hard to say.
A nudge across, but it would leave a pocket. That's the only thing.
Let's have a listen in.
Jævlig vanskelig.
Big decision here for Ramsfjell. Does he play the shot he's played
Ja, det hull
4
der.
times down this way?
Jeg tror det er hull der, men det er vanskeligere hull enn å på en måte chap-run en stein da, i liksom referanse. Hvis han legger her eller her, så har vi ingenting. Eller må vi dra her da.
So tricky, because if they get this right, they look in a good spot to steal. If not, it's game over.
Jeg holder fortsatt litt å spille en backline på det.
The one thing is with Magnus Ramsfjell next to play, he's been by far and away the top drawing player, hasn't he? He's been able to play that exact dead weight when he needed to.
Well, the last end when he had to draw to get the 2, his first stone, he played it perfectly.
Yeah, and he was able to repeat again, just, when he needed to. He keeps tapping his brush there. I think that in Magnus's mind, that's the shot he wants to play. Yeah. When there's a tap of the brush, it's saying this is the shot we're playing.
But he's still going out into the centre of the red there. Schwaller played. It'll be to do with the deliveries and how they threw the stone, but Schwaller played into the edge of the 8 foot.
But played heavy.
And he played a fraction heavy, but he was aiming to be short of that red stone.
I wonder though as well, is if you're a little bit on the tighter side and you nudge just your own red, that's not a disaster either.
No.
It's going to be so tight here for Magnus Ramsfjell. He's been excellent on draw shots so far and changeable ice. throughout the game. He's managed that challenge very well. Here he comes then.
Litt tight, men nære. Litt tight.
Just slightly brushing it.
Linja bra.
I think if you play it lighter, then you can use the brushes to your advantage. Previous shots have been too heavy for other players.
Pretty good way.
You need to get the
Needs to
diagonal
draw,
sweep
Phil.
now, I think.
Needs to draw.
Here it comes.
Just a fraction high and heavy.
Oh, it's... Yep, and it leaves that pocket. Kim Schwaller couldn't wait to get his brush down there. That leaves that pocket with that yellow stone of the Swiss team sitting right on the just
And look at the ice
corner
he's
of the
taking.
button. Way less, yeah. He can afford to be though.
He can afford to be. He needs to be further across. But I do question whether Ramsfjell was just taking too much ice for that shot.
Yep. Yeah, you could be right.
His weight was right because he needed to.
His weight
tap
was
the yellow.
perfect. Yeah, the weight was absolutely spot on.
Jeg synes den lå veldig bra, ja. Så bare fikk
But you're looking at a target area of 3 or 4, probably even millimeters. Yeah, just so tight.
That's what these guys play to.
Yep. So here
Swallow
comes
his
then
first stone.
Kim Schwaller. Has played some excellent stuff.
He's looking to block out this.
They're working it hard as
Short
it's short.
completely.
Short's not bad either, really. But here they
It's
come.
not bad.
Oh, here the sweeper's working it hard.
vi treffer det vi ser av rød, eller spiller runnen.
Well, what now?
What does he do?
Tror jeg gul corner, eller treffe det vi ser av den.
Answers in a postcard.
Because the
very
thing is,
thin
if
edge
he's
of
not
the-
sitting short at this point, the game is over. Even with Team Stalker with a stone left, it has whatever they do here, they have to have that red stone as first shot. Otherwise, that's it.
Can he flash down enough to hit a very thin edge of the red and put it across onto the short stone?
Well, if we look at a long angle here, you see where they've got to come down the path.
Jeg tror den alltid blir dårligere enn begge.
So it's not quite as straightforward as Have you got? I think you've got to run one of the top stones, don't you?
Well, he's looking at that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Ja, hvis vi spiller den.
So the top yellow onto the yellow with his brushes now, then
he's
on.
tapping that many shots.
It's
gonna
every
be-
angle is. This is a John Virgo trick shot here, more than a snooker shot rather than a curling shot. But at this level, that's kind of what it's become.
Well, there's seven shots in the house, and he's probably going to hit every one of them, I think.
Yeah.
Eller direkte på den.
They're looking at the angles very, very closely. They've got to get this absolutely spot on. Otherwise, teams.
He's taking a little bit of time on this, but he deserves to.
Fil sånn 6-8 områder. Isbetreff.
Yeah, they bank the time, they bank the thinking time. But he's made the decision. It's all down to Magnus Ramsfjell now.
Kanskje han 6-7-6-8. Spiller på
Ranked
stikken
12th
på den
in the
gule,
world.
så han ikke, hvis vi spiller
European bronze medalist in Norwegian national team,
så får han bare en
and they could be staring down the barrel of no wins and 2 losses
Stikken rett på den
unless
gule er perfekt.
Magnus Ramsfjell can conjure up some magic here. See, warms his right hand up ready to deliver this critical final stone of the scheduled match.
They call him on straight away.
Yep. Hard! Men nå,
Oh no, he's
That's not going to do it.
straight.
That's not going to do it.
Game
Over then. It's a win for the Stalker rink led by the young 21-year-old Kim Schwaller. Stalker with a win on the board, a win and 2 losses, and it's, well, I have to say, a big shock for Team Ramsfjell. 2 games, 2 losses for the Norwegians, and this group is absolutely wide open. But tell you what, Sandy, hey, it wasn't 95-100% curling, but my goodness me, was that exciting the whole way.
Ignore the percentages. That was a great fun game.
So that's the game over then. A win for Team Stalker, and they keep their hopes alive of qualification. But our live coverage does not stop here. We've got 2 more live games for you. One coming up at 2 o'clock local time in the ladies competition with Alan Hanna and Mary Milne taking you through Morrison versus Rorvik, and then later on at 5:15 local time the men's contest between Team Craik and Team Harstad with Alan Chalmers and Graham Cormack, your commentators there. But from us all here at Dewar Centre in Perth for now, it's goodbye, and we'll see you a little bit later on at 2 o'clock. Goodbye.